Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Young and Restless goes dark. Grab your tissues for a devastating repeat of tragic history and shattered hearts. It's starting to feel like I say the same things every week about Young and Restless. Perhaps that's because the offerings are the same. Mental health, corporate job juggling, or recycled plots from the past. Some work, some don't, but ultimately, it feels like we're kinda stuck here. Coming up, we've got lots of dark content involving broken hearts and a potentially devastating repeat of history. Why is Michael groveling to get back in Victor's good graces? The man was ready to retire when Victor dragged him kicking and screaming back into the game. Why, after that Jordan debacle, would he be begging for another chance at being mowed over by the egomaniac? And why does he allow him to condescend to him the way he does? Make it make sense. Cheers to the thaw between Kyle and Summer, because their bickering had become hella annoying, and like so many plots these days, didn't make a lot of sense. As for Claire and Kyle, that's a chemistry-free pairing if I've ever seen one. No zing, no tension, no one buying them as a match. The only hope they have of making this interesting is by morphing Claire into a character as complex as she should have been from the get-go. Having Victor get involved, per the preview, is probably designed to have us rooting for Kyle. I'd rather see her go dark after Victor forces Kyle to fire her. Billy, who moved me with his reaction to Chelsea's confession this week, seemed emotionally exhausted, perhaps because he had already taken his anger out on Lily. I would love to see her fight back, but worry that Billy will suck her back in and use her as a shoulder to cry on. Perhaps Lily will team with the Newmans and become Mickey's co-CEO. Young and Restless absolutely loves to do co-CEOs, so there are enough executive positions to go around, and around, and around. The corporate story fatigue is real. Victor as the mystery investor is the worst-kept secret in Geno City, and Audra and Kyle are dumpster fire co-CEOs, but the Abbott family emotional stuff is compelling. Kyle is finally lashing out at Diane the way he should have when she first came back. She deserves it. People went crazy when Phyllis let her kids think she was dead for a week. Diane let Kyle think she'd been brutally murdered while she was alive and well in LA for most of his life. Find out what's ahead for another Abbott, as Tracy faces heartbreak or much worse. Adam is a lot of things, but stupid has never been one of them. Young and Restless is telling us he can evolve as a son, father, brother, whilst remaining absolutely clueless about how to be a good partner. A fifth grader could tell you that lying is only going to make it worse, and Sally and Adam have already been down this road with him denying what is obvious and gaslighting her. He lost her for the exact same reasons the last time, and it wasn't all that long ago. It didn't make sense that Adam would lie to Sally's face right after Chelsea had left his place, declaring that the only way forward was to confess. He was clearly freaking out inside when he read Chelsea's text, but it shouldn't have surprised him in the least. Of course, Adam's lies will be blown sky-high when Billy shows up drunk and ready to rumble. Does Ally stand a chance? Sally and Adam's fate as a couple is revealed here. I love that the writers found a way to bring Cameron back, but as I said in a previous soapbox, if this is only going to amount to Sharon psychoanalyzing herself in her living room, that's going to be disappointing. The premise should be a license to go big, dark, soapy, or all of the above with Sharon's story, but it's not happening thus far despite the fabulous performances. Of course, we know we're headed for a devastating repeat of history with Lucy and Faith when they land in the hospital following a car accident that will presumably involve Lucy drinking again, but it's hard to believe this writing team won't stop short of offering up huge consequential drama. If the girls are both okay, perhaps the scare will drive Sharon off the deep end. We can only hope. The opinions expressed are my own. Please feel free to drop your thoughts on Young and Restless in the comment section. Geno City has seen its fair share of heartbreaks, betrayals, and dark secrets, but what's about to unfold will leave the town reeling in ways they never expected. The winds of fate are shifting once more, and as history threatens to repeat itself, the residents of this small Midwestern town are bracing for impact. The stage is set for a tale of love lost, shattered hearts, and the haunting echoes of a tragedy that refuses to stay buried. The past resurfaces. The Abbott family has always been the cornerstone of Geno City, a dynasty built on power, wealth, and secrets. but beneath the polished exterior lies a history of pain and loss that is about to come crashing back to the surface. Decades ago, the tragic death of Delia Abbott shook the Abbott family to its core. The loss of young Delia in a hit-and-run accident left scars that never truly healed, particularly for her father, Billy Abbott. The wound may have scabbed over, but the pain of losing his daughter has always simmered just below the surface. Now, with the anniversary of Delia's death approaching, Billy finds himself spiraling into a familiar darkness. Haunted by memories of his little girl, he becomes consumed with guilt and grief, reliving the night that changed everything. As Billy's mind fractures under the weight of his anguish, those closest to him fear he may not be able to pull himself out of this emotional abyss. But Billy's torment is only the beginning. As he digs deeper into the past, determined to find some semblance of peace, he uncovers a startling connection between Delia's death and another tragedy that threatens to rock the Abbott family to its foundation. A mother's worst nightmare for Victoria Newman, life has been a roller coaster of triumphs and tribulations. As the daughter of Victor Newman, she has always lived in the shadow of her powerful father, yet she's fought tooth and nail to carve out her own identity. But even the strongest of women have their breaking points. Victoria has weathered many storms, but nothing could prepare her for the devastating news that her youngest daughter, Katie, has gone missing. One moment, Katie was safely tucked away in her bed, and the next, she was gone without a trace. The panic that grips Victoria is all-consuming, dredging up memories of Delia's disappearance all those years ago. As the hours tick by and the search intensifies, Victoria's mind races with fear and guilt. She's no stranger to the idea that history has a way of repeating itself, and the eerie similarities between Katie's disappearance and Delia's death send chills down her spine. Desperate to find her daughter, Victoria begins to unravel, teetering on the edge of hysteria as she relives the nightmare that took Delia away from them all. A town in turmoil. Genoa City is a town where secrets fester, and everyone knows that even the most carefully buried truths have a way of coming to light. As the search for Katie intensifies, old wounds are ripped open, and long-held grudges resurface. The town's residents, each with their own connections to the Abbott and Newman families, find themselves drawn into the chaos. Adam Newman, who was once blamed for Delia's death, feels the weight of the past pressing down on him like never before. He spent years trying to atone for his sins, but with Katie's disappearance, he's once again cast in the role of the villain. Despite his efforts to prove that he's changed, whispers of his involvement in Katie's kidnapping begin to circulate, threatening to undo all the progress he's made. Nick Newman, always the protector, finds himself torn between supporting his sister Victoria and seeking justice for his own daughter, Faith, who is now caught in the crossfire. The tension between Nick and Adam reaches a boiling point as old resentments resurface, and they're forced to confront the ghosts of their past. Meanwhile, Sharon Rosales, who has always been the voice of reason and compassion in the town, struggles to hold her family together as the pressure mounts. Her relationship with Ray is put to the test as she becomes embroiled in the search for Katie, and her own traumatic memories of losing Cassie come rushing back with a vengeance. A shocking revelation. As the investigation into Katie's disappearance deepens, a shocking revelation comes to light. The truth about what happened to Delia all those years ago is far more complicated than anyone could have imagined. A new piece of evidence emerges, casting doubt on everything the Abbott and Newman families thought they knew about that fateful night. The discovery sends shockwaves through Genoa City, and the town's residents are forced to confront the possibility that the true culprit behind Delia's death has been hiding in plain sight all along. The revelation threatens to tear apart the very fabric of the town as alliances shift, and long-standing relationships are put to the ultimate test. The unraveling. As the darkness envelops Genoa City, the town's residents are pushed to their breaking points. The grief, anger, and guilt that have simmered beneath the surface for so long finally erupt, leading to a series of explosive confrontations and heartbreaking decisions. Billy, consumed by his quest for justice and closure, teeters on the brink of madness. His obsession with uncovering the truth about Delia's death drives a wedge between him and the people he loves most. Victoria, desperate to find her daughter and protect her family, is forced to make an impossible choice that could change the course of her life forever. Adam, struggling to prove his innocence, finds himself isolated and alone, with even those who once believed in him beginning to doubt his intentions. Nick and Sharon, each grappling with their own demons, must decide whether to stand by their loved ones or walk away for good. A heart-wrenching conclusion. As the dust settles and the truth is finally revealed, the residents of Genoa City are left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. The devastating events of the past few weeks have left scars that will never fully heal, and the town is forever changed. But in the midst of the darkness, there is a glimmer of hope. The bonds of family and friendship, though tested to their limits, prove to be stronger than the pain and betrayal that threatened to tear them apart. And as the town comes together to mourn, heal, and rebuild, they are reminded that even in the darkest of times, there is always the possibility of redemption. In the end, the residents of Genoa City are left with the knowledge that while history may repeat itself, it is also within their power to break the cycle and forge a new path forward. And though the scars of the past will always remain, they are a testament to the strength and resilience of a town that refuses to be defeated.